Amid the renewed push from the United States for a Ukraine-Russia peace deal, the Ukrainian military claimed it was still holding Russian forces at bay inside the embattled city of Pokrovsk, trying to blunt fresh assaults on this critical front. Pokrovsk has become a vital logistics hub for Ukraine's army, and control of the city is seen as essential to Russia's broader bid to capture the entire surrounding province and consolidate its grip on Donbass. Ukrainian commanders said their troops were conducting aggressive search and destroy missions against Russian units operating inside Pokrovsk, hunting down infiltrators street by street to prevent a full Russian breakthrough. However, the independent war monitor Deep State reported that Russian forces were continuing to advance in central areas of Pokrovsk, indicating that the situation on the ground remains highly fluid and fiercely contested. These developments were reported by the Kiev Independent on November 23, just as President Trump intensified his push for a controversial peace deal, adding new urgency to the military struggle around the city. For more than a year, Pokrovsk has been at epicenter, some of the heaviest fighting along the Russian-Ukrainian line, with both sides pouring in troops, artillery, and drones to control this strategic node. Small Russian units, sometimes reportedly disguising themselves as civilians, have infiltrated parts of the city, trying to gather intelligence and open gaps in Ukraine's defensive lines. Since the beginning of November, Ukraine's army says it has killed more than 380 Russian soldiers in Pokrovsk, portraying these losses as evidence that Moscow is paying a high price for every block it tries to seize. The Ukrainian military's claims about success in Pokrovsk came just as the US president launched a fresh diplomatic push for a peace deal with Russia, intertwining battlefield dynamics with high-stakes negotiations. On November 23, US, Ukrainian, and key European officials met in Geneva to discuss Trump's peace proposal, trying to reconcile differing red lines while the war raged on in cities like Pokrovsk. Trump's draft deal has been widely criticized in Kiev and parts of Europe as leaning heavily in favor of Russia, with opponents warning it could undercut Ukraine's security and long-term territorial interests. Washington has said the draft agreement is still being amended and refined, but officials have stressed that the informal deadline for reaching a deal is essentially as soon as possible, reflecting growing impatience in the US over the grinding war.
The deadline is we want to get this done as soon as possible. Obviously, we'd love it to be Thursday. We'd love to be. Ultimately, the important point today is that we have made substantial progress. We've really moved forward. So I feel very optimistic that we're going to get there in a very reasonable period of time very soon. Whether it's Thursday, whether it's Friday, whether it's Wednesday, whether it's Monday of the following week, we want it to be soon because people are going to, between today and the time we deal with this, more people are going to die. More destruction is going to happen. Our goal is to end this war as soon as possible, but we need a little more time. Clearly, I think we all recognize that part of getting a final end to this war will require for Ukraine to feel as it is safe and it is never going to be invaded or attacked again. So that's clearly something that has to be discussed. I think we've made substantial progress on that and other points.